Ah, I just realized I don't even know what this world is called, like the country or area that we're in. So we're just going to refer to it as the magical mystery medieval wonderland, and welcome to it. We are going to build our medieval dynasty. We've played this game a couple of times before on stream, and I kind of got, well, I got a lot of people saying, hey, you know, have you ever tried the Unstuck village? So in the game there is a function, the Unstuck function. Like a lot of games have this. If you get stuck someplace and you can't get out, you can unstick yourself, and the game normally will move you like a few feet to one direction or whatnot, and like respawn you in the world just so you're not stuck. This game, as it sits right now, the Unstuck function will send you all the way back to where you first started, where you first spawned into the world, you know, on your very first day. That's the unstick location. So no matter where you're at in the actual world, when you hit Unstuck, that's where you end up. And I'm sure you, just as well as I, we see the benefit of being able to just fast travel back to your own town, right? But the area where the Unstuck location is looks like this. It's a bunch of trees. It's a lot of terrain up and down. There's not a lot of flat space. So is it worth it? Is it worth building in this very difficult terrain for, well, the trade-off being that you can fast travel back home anytime that you want? We're gonna try it out. We're gonna try it out. We'll see if we can build a little town up here, and of course use most of the knowledge that we already have for the game, right? We like I said, we played through a couple of times. So not played through, but we started some villages, put it that way. Because no, I have not played even to the point where my child is taking over from me, because that takes a long time. Okay, what we're gonna try to do is we're gonna try to get our first kind of basic setup going up here and run some of the starter missions for some of the people around as well, right? And well, we're gonna start obviously with our own house. Looks like nowadays a workshop is actually necessary. There are some good money-making opportunities there, and we might be going through a good chunk of wooden shovels trying to get all these stumps out. So normally I kind of skip the workshop. I think this time we are going to build a workshop and have that. Definitely have a food storage building and a general supply storage building so that we can get both, you know, a wife in here and maybe start getting a few workers to come in as well. There's a lot of this work that I don't want to be doing forever on my own. So now, as you can see, we are located. This is the spot, right, where you start, and it's decently close to water, and it's very close to the start village, because obviously this is meant to be just kind of like this spot where you enter into the game the first time. You follow this road that we're on into the first village, and you learn kind of the start of the story. And this should help us. This should help us a great deal to get a lot of stuff done fast. We're gonna head down to this town. We gotta get started on some of the start missions. Probably get a little bit of money going, you know, from some berry picking or whatever we can do. And we gotta get some crops. There'll probably be something that we can plant in the summertime. I believe these guys sell onions, so that might be what we're gonna do. Now, one of the things that often will slow down, at least the early game, it'll slow down the early game, is getting straw for your buildings. All the early buildings use straw roofs, and you're gonna have to collect it someplace. You're not growing anything right now that produces straw, and even if you were, it's not going to produce a ton because it's very early, so you need to go pick it up somewhere. And this is generally, I mean, you can stack up a lot, right? But generally it's going to still take you time, and it'll burn time running to where you need to go, stacking up as much as you can, picking it, and then you got to run back home, right? And you can't really go encumbered if you have a long trip back home. And here's, I guess, the biggest beauty then of building the town at the Unstuck location. Because, well, you'll see here in a little bit, just you can be as loaded as you want, and still get all that stuff back. We have taken our time. We collected a bunch of reeds. We have chopped down a lot of trees outside of Gustovia. They don't need it. I mean, they're not going to need these trees. They just stand around town all day long complaining about stuff. So we've cut down a lot of their trees, and we're going to be very nice, and we're going to just bring those trees with us home. So we make sure we get every single item, because as you know, once you fill up and you are fully loaded, you can't move. But you can unstick. Welcome home. Welcome home. Still can't move. So I guess we'll just dump all of this right here in the middle of the road. Hoping nobody drives by or anything gets mad at us. So it's a couple hours later. We have done some work for our neighbors. We did a little bit of hunting, just trying to just kind of get settled in a little bit. We also spent what little money we had on some onion seed and fertilizer. Normally I like to go cabbage, I guess, because it has 2 seasons, and early in the game it's nice to just grow a lot of stuff fast, just for some money and stack some things up. But the cabbage, the person that sells cabbage is a little bit further away, and I know that we are going to end up going there as part of some of the quests anyway. I think both Alvin and what's-his-face, Unigost, sends you over to that town. So we'll deal with that later. Right now we'll grow onion. It's just for money making and for pumping our skills up anyway. Or I guess we can eat it since, well, there's nobody living with us. So who's going to say anything if I live off of a diet of roasted meat and just raw onion, right? Maybe it'll keep people away from sneaking around my house at night. But welcome to summertime. Our onion field is growing nicely. We've already put up our workshop over there in the area, and right here, right by the big intersection in town, and what is the Unstuck spot, we are putting down our storage building. The beauty here is obviously going to be that every time we bring things back from far and wide from our adventures and we unstick back to town, we are going to end up right outside of this main building. Like right here where we're standing. This is where you spawn back in, and then you can easily get the supplies moved into that building. I think it's going to work out pretty well. Of course, we got to play this game of picking up big stacks of logs and dropping them just so we have enough. But I'm going to get this building up and running, and I think we're going to put food storage building up as well, just so that we have everything that we need for well, to start inviting people in. We need people into a town. This is not going to be a village if it's just us living here. Well, it will, but it will be a creepy little village with just that one creepy guy with the onion breath. So we're gonna try to make it pretty. We're finishing this building, and I think, yeah, we'll go for a food storage building. So I'll get back with you once we got some of these buildings up and running. All right, welcome back. We have stayed busy, and we have entered the first day of fall. As you can see, if I can actually get out of the door here, had a lot of drink in me last night. We have our workshop. It's up and running. We have another house for more people to live in. Obviously, like I said, the food storage, the hunting lodge, which is part of, well, the starting quest line, so to speak, and of course the storage facility that is right by the point here. But we are going to head down to the neighbor town. We got a few things to do. I think we got to talk to Alvin again for something quick. This might be when he wants us to go and get his broken hoe. And we'll also have the lady that we're flirting with, Henrika, I think her name is, who we want to be our wife. And let's bring some more people in as well. The village does have, well, we have enough now, so we can get some people in. We can get them going and get them to work. And we have spoken to Alvin. We're on our way to get his hoe replaced over here. Ferry boar or whatever in the village across the water. This is the girl that we're flirting with. And, well, something happened right here. I meant to talk to her, but apparently I invited her to move into the town. So we're gonna have to do our continuation flirting back at our town. Which is fine, as long as she doesn't fall in love with somebody else before we're done. And then I think, well, we're gonna bring another person in. The idea was to bring in just a man, because I think we only had one spot. No, we had two, but we only had one guy that we had actually have enough approval with. And this guy was gonna come in and kind of do some hunting and stuff, Emmerich. So for now, I guess he's gonna have to share a house with Henrika until, of course, she falls in love with us. That's just how it is, right? Medieval times. You gotta do what you gotta do. And we're just gonna assign both of them to the empty house that we have. Obviously, what will happen is once Henrika falls in love with us fully, she will move to our house and open a spot here. So we get both of them in the house, and I think for now, we'll assign both of them to hunting. I think we should build a another building up there. I really want a logging camp, or one of those wood sheds where they collect wood, because they will need firewood for the winter time. And Henrika has a lot of really good stats, so we'll make sure that she gets out of hunting and back into wood gathering, and especially for firewood. But I'm going to continue over the water and talk to Fairboar. And with our daily errands done, we are going to do what we normally do, which is, well, we steal their trees. Oh, well, we will chop down some trees in the general vicinity of somebody else's village. I'm sure they won't need them, and we'll just stack up a bunch of trees and then take our normal Unstuck route back home. Now, with pockets full of lumber that wasn't really ours, we are going to put up the woodshed. Now, normally the woodshed, I always put it way out in the woods somewhere, among a lot of trees. But I don't think the game right now, well, they don't chop the trees down, right? Right now, they will not cut down any trees around the woodshed. So I'm just going to include it in the village. Make the village look a little bit different than just a bunch of houses, and a little bit more life, I guess, in town, because the lumberjack is just going to be meandering around town instead of disappearing into the forest. And these are simple to put up. Nice and quick, and then we can get that person over to get started on that. And I'll dump off everything else that we have, if I can find the right buttons. All right, so that's done, and let's move over Henrika from being a hunter, and we'll switch her over to the woodshed. And she's good at gathering. She's good at a lot of stuff, actually. She's high levels in a lot of things. We'll let her do our wood gathering, or being the lumberjack. Most of the time, I try for them to gather a good amount of logs, and then a little bit of the other stuff, because I can kind of monitor the other stuff. And if there are logs available, and we are in a pinch that we don't have enough firewood or enough planks or whatnot, then we can create them ourselves. We can just pick up the logs that the lumberjack has gotten, and then we can pick up the slack there, just to make sure the village has what it needs. But yeah, all this is starting to look like a pretty decent little home right here on the main stretch through. Good access to stuff around. We have a lot of the main buildings that we need. For starters, we have a log on top. No, This is a full... Okay, so we have a full tree on top of the storage building. I guess we'll solve that later. But yeah, it's all here. So what we need to do now is we got to remove... Well, this was our original field. I'm going to remove this original field because obviously this area is now becoming more of a central point of the village. So that'll go away. And then we are going to... We have to place more fields and we have to build a barn. And I'm thinking... That was another thing that I have done before, is I place the barn far out where the fields are. But I don't like doing like the pre-planning or future-proofing of stuff. I will rather put the barn down close to town with a few small fields. And if we later on need to expand and have bigger fields further away from the village, we will build a new barn there instead of, you know, building this one far away and try to future-proof that way. So let's get some logs. Let's cut down some of these trees around here. And I think, yeah, this spot right here is a good for the barn itself. And then we'll just spread out towards... There's an open area more towards the western side. And we can go that direction for our fields. Terrain cleared. Perfect. Nice flat space, well, flat-ish space. And the barn will work right here. Place the barn in this area. It's close to town, easy for people to get to. And then to the left of this, or out towards like the northwest, is where we get the fields for now. And then if we need to expand further, we'll obviously, like I said, we'll tear this down, we'll move stuff. But for now, I think, yeah, this will sit at a good spot. So let's get into building this and then figure out where our next step is. And there we go. It is, well, it's the first day of fall. And we have gone all the way to finishing our barn. We've put down an extra field out here. Of course, we're going to continue, like I said, to put some more fields down. But we also need to get more villagers in here now. People to run this. And I got to go out and make some money because, well, it's going to cost money to get the fertilizer and to get the seeds to get real farming up and running. Well, the game used to be that the farmers, they didn't use anything. Like if you put people from the village to farm, they would just farm and find seeds out of thin air and fertilizer and whatnot. That has been fixed. I still don't think they need tools. They will just find their own tools to do it, but they do need the seeds and fertilizer now. That's going to be an expensive investment on the, at least on upfront. But all that is something that we're going to leave for the next video. I appreciate you guys coming out and hanging out and watching us getting this town started. I don't even know what we're considering right now. Probably like a small farm or a hamlet or something like that. But we will catch you on the next one. Take care. Oh, it's just a guy hanging out. That's not... This is more boring than I thought it would be.
Anchor. I can't. Oh my god! I was typing.